one of the most popular things you should never say to a man is, why can't you be more like fill in the blank? All right, so why can't you be more like my friend such and such? Why can't you be more like this person we see on TV? Or the worst one is, why can't you be more like my ex? Now, I would hope and like to believe that the majority of women will not cross the line of saying, why can't you be more like my ex? But it happens. It does. And the reason why this phrase is such an issue is because men do not want to be compared to anyone. They don't want you throwing in their face how essentially someone else is better than them at this. Now, this is not to say you aren't free to constructively criticize a man. I think you should. I think that in relationships, we have to create environments where we can give constructive criticism to each other, and we can be open and honest about our concerns, what we see as shortcomings, and encourage each other to be better. But consider if he ever said to you, why can't you be more like her? Right? You would have a fit. There's no way you would be okay with that. And again, the issue would not be what specifically needs to be improved upon, but it would be, why does he have to compare you, and how that can make you feel inadequate. Not only can it make someone feel inadequate, but it can cause the man to start to question, well, does she have more feelings for this person? Does she want this type of person more? And this becomes a bigger problem when that other person you're comparing them to is nothing like them, all right? So what's kind of hitting my spirit that I think will resonate with a lot of you ladies is, there's been a lot of scenarios where a woman's with a man and he's liking pictures on Instagram, okay, or whatever social media site. And the women that he's liking, the way that they look physically is nothing like the way that she looks. And because of this, the issue is going way beyond the fact that he's just liking other women's pictures. Not saying that's not an issue, but that's not even what's really hurting her or bothering her. It's, if you're liking these women who look nothing like me, then how am I supposed to believe you truly like me? Like, how is that supposed to make me feel when that's a completely different style of woman? And so for that man, it can happen in that way too. I do think that men may feel less bothered from a physical standpoint. Let's say if we flipped it, her liking guys' posts. Not saying a man wouldn't be bothered, but I think it's not as common. But that comparison piece and saying, why can't you be more like this? Essentially, why is your personality more like this? That can really get under his skin. So you want to make sure, again, if you're going to criticize in any fashion, whatever that specific issue is, so maybe he's not affectionate enough, right? So it's, why can't you be as affectionate as this person? Just focus on the affection, not the comparison. Leave the comparisons out. That's when we create more problems than we really want to deal with. And again, you plant seeds of insecurity and you plant seeds of skepticism if the person you're comparing him to is someone who is in your life or accessible to you. You see, it's even though he doesn't want to be compared even to the guy on TV, right? At least the guy on TV is completely out of your reach. so that it doesn't add on the layer of, well, is she gonna go after that guy, or what do they have going on? But if you're comparing him to a friend, someone that you used to date, anything like that, then yeah, that can create so many more problems. All right, so now the second thing you should never say to a man is, you're not that strong. So listen, again, do not get me wrong. Sometimes he really isn't that strong, and whatever he's attempting to do in that moment is beyond his strength limit, all right? I think we can acknowledge that that's gonna happen sometimes. And I do think that if it's a ridiculously difficult action for him to take, so it's almost like if he said, yeah, I'm gonna lift this car, and you said, you ain't that strong. no one's gonna take that really offensively, right? But let's say he's like, oh, let me lift this big box, or let me lift this TV. Oh, you're not that strong for that. Like, dang, you basically saying I'm weak, all right? And no man wants to be viewed as weak by his partner, even if he's lacking in physique and strength and muscles, all that stuff. And he may be aware of that to a certain extent. For you to just kind of undercut him and belittle him in that moment, it can be a problem. Now, let me throw out there are gonna be some guys who aren't sensitive, who may take it more as a joke depending on how you deliver the comment. And you may have that kind of rapport with him that these little things don't really matter. But I do think you have to be careful, and you do have to make sure that is an established banter that you both have, so to speak, all right? But until you understand that he'll take it in a lighthearted way, and until you make sure you know how to deliver it in a more lighthearted way, you want to avoid that. And again, when it comes to things that he's trying to do that might be beyond what he can actually do, all right? It's almost like you can suggest alternatives to, well, you sure you want to lift that by yourself? Maybe you should get somebody else so it's not too much. You see how that comes off way differently than you're not that strong? Like, just don't hit him in the gut, say, yeah, you're weak. Suggest other things. It's still conveying that maybe his strength isn't there, but it's a lot better, a lot easier for him to take, and it won't turn into anything negative. Because again, all of these things I'm mentioning and will mention, it runs the risk of creating a feeling of inadequacy and making him feel insecure around you. Because again, now if she doesn't think I'm that strong, does she question my ability to protect her? Does she question my ability to stand up to other men? This can start to play in that man's head, and you don't want to create that for any, it's just best to leave that alone. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Relationships are the key to a successful life. But there's 5 areas that we have to be mindful of when it comes to relationships. There's relationship with God, relationship with ourselves, relationship with family and friends,